My name is Rebecca. I am 32 years old, and for the past 7 years my mother has been living a life she could never afford on her own. The breaking point did not arrive during some explosive argument or dramatic confrontation. It happened on a quiet Tuesday evening when I opened my mother's social media and saw her posing in front of a brand new luxury car with a caption that made my blood run cold. Finally got my dream car. Sometimes prayers really do get answered. Blessed dreams come true, living my best life. The car cost more than I made in 6 months, and I knew exactly who had paid for it because the dealership had called me 3 days earlier to confirm the wire transfer. My mother had not asked me to buy her a car. She had simply texted me the dealership's name and said, "They need your information to finalize something. Can you call them?" Like a fool, I called. Like an even bigger fool, I authorized the payment when they explained that Mrs. Patricia, my mother, had selected a vehicle and listed me as the financial guarantor. "She said you two had discussed this," the sales guy told me. We had not. But by the time I realized what was happening, my mother was already at the dealership signing papers, and I was stuck between humiliating her in public or swallowing another massive expense I had never agreed to. I chose silence. I chose to let it happen. I chose wrong. That night, staring at her post with hundreds of likes and comments congratulating her, I scrolled back through years of photos, vacations I had funded but never attended, designer bags she had bought with my credit card, renovations to her house that somehow became my responsibility, and in every single photo she looked happy, free, unburdened. Meanwhile, I was drowning. You want to know what happens when you finally stop being the invisible ATM your mother has been using for years? Stay with me until the end of this story, because what I did next turned her perfect little world upside down, and she never saw it coming. My mother was not always like this, or maybe she was and I was too young to notice. Growing up, she worked 2 jobs to keep us afloat after my father left. I watched her struggle, sacrifice, push through exhaustion. I promised myself that when I grew up and made something of myself, I would take care of her. I would make sure she never had to struggle again. That promise became a curse. I got my degree in finance, landed a corporate job in Chicago, and started earning a salary that felt like a miracle compared to what we had grown up with. The first thing I did was send my mother money, just $500 to help with bills. She cried on the phone, called me her angel, told me she did not know what she would do without me. That moment felt pure. It felt like love. It felt like I was finally fulfilling the promise I had made to that exhausted little girl watching her mom cry over unpaid electric bills. But $500 became $1,000, then $2,000. Then it was not just bills anymore, it was upgrades, a better apartment, a nicer car, a vacation. Because I have worked so hard my whole life, Rebecca, I deserve something nice. I agreed. She did deserve nice things, so I kept saying yes. I kept transferring money. I kept covering costs that grew bigger and bigger until I stopped recognizing where help ended and exploitation began. The shift was gradual. At first she would ask gently, "Honey, do you think you could help with?" Then it became, "I need you to send." Then eventually, "I already told them you would handle it." There was no conversation anymore, just expectation. And somewhere along the way, "Thank you" turned into "Of course you will." My friends started noticing. My best friend Sarah asked me once, "Does your mom know you are not actually rich? Like you make good money but you are not opera?" I laughed it off, but the truth was my mother had no idea what my real financial situation looked like. She saw the salary, not the student loans. She saw the job title, not the 60-hour work weeks. She saw what I could give her, not what it was costing me to keep giving. When I turned 30, I realized I had no savings. None. Every bonus, every raise, every extra dollar went straight to my mother's lifestyle. I was living in a cramped 1-bedroom apartment while she posted photos from her newly remodeled kitchen. I was eating takeout on my couch while she dined at expensive restaurants with friends, splitting bills she knew I would cover later. I started keeping a list, not because I wanted to throw it in her face, but because I needed to see it for myself. I needed proof that I was not crazy, that this was not normal. Over 7 years I had given my mother over $150,000. Rent, car payments, credit card debt, vacations, furniture, medical bills that insurance should have covered but she never bothered to file, random expenses she called emergencies but were really just things she wanted and did not feel like budgeting for. $150,000. That numb burr sat in my chest like a stone. That was a house, that was my future. That was everything I had worked for, handed over piece by piece because I could not say no to the woman who raised me. The car was the final straw. Not because it was the most expensive thing, though it was close, but because of how she got it. She did not ask. She did not beg, she did not even pretend to need my permission. She just assumed. She walked into that dealership, picked out her dream car, and told them her daughter would pay for it. And when they called me, I was so trained, so conditioned, so completely beaten down by years of guilt and obligation that I said yes. Again, but this time something snapped. I sat in my apartment that night, staring at her post, reading the comments. "You deserve it, Patricia. So happy for you." Goals, nobody knew. Nobody had any idea that this woman they were congratulating had not earned a single dollar of that car, that every ounce of that blessed life was built on my back while I lived like I was still in college. I opened my banking app. My checking account had $940 in it. My savings account had $0. I had 3 maxed out credit cards because I had been covering her expenses on credit when my paycheck could not stretch far enough. Meanwhile, my mother was out celebrating her new luxury vehicle like she had manifested it through positive thinking. I took a screenshot of her post. Then I took screenshots of every payment I had made to her over the past year. Car insurance, rent, utilities, spa days, dinners, shopping. I saved them all in a folder on my laptop labeled Mom Receipts. Then I did something I had never done before. I blocked her number, not forever, just for 24 hours. I needed silence. I needed space to think without her calling to ask me for something new or to gush about her car while completely ignoring the fact that I had bought it. That night I barely slept. I kept imagining her reaction when she realized I had blocked her. Would she panic? Would she be angry? Would she even notice, or would she be too busy enjoying her new car to care that I had disappeared? By morning I had made a decision. I could not keep doing this. I could not keep funding a life I was not even living. I could not keep being her silent benefactor while she played the role of a woman who had finally made it. Something had to change, and if she would not change it, I would. I unblocked her number at 8 a.m. immediately. Notifications flooded in. 7 missed calls. 12 texts. "Where are you? Why are not you answering? I wanted to tell you about the car. Call me back. Rebecca, this is rude." Not one message asked if I was okay. Not one message acknowledged what I had done for her. It was all about her, her excitement, her car, her need for my attention. I replied with one sentence: "We need to talk. Come to my place tomorrow at 6 p.m. Her response came instantly: "Is everything okay?" I did not answer. Let her wonder. Let her sit in uncertainty for once. Let her feel a fraction of the anxiety I had been living with for years every time she casually dropped another expense in my lap. The next evening she showed up at my door in a designer outfit I had bought her for Christmas. She hugged me like nothing was wrong, like I had not just ignored her for a full day. "So, what is this about?" she asked, settling onto my couch. "Is everything okay with work?" I sat across from her, hands folded, heart pounding. "I need you to pay me back for the car." She blinked, then laughed. "What? The car?" I repeated. "I need you to pay me back." Her smile faded. "Rebecca, we did not agree on a loan. You helped me. That is what you do. You help me." "I have been helping you for 7 years," I said, "and I am done." The air in the room shifted. She leaned forward, face tight. "What does that mean, done?" I pulled out my laptop and opened the folder. I turned the screen toward her. "This is every payment I have made to you in the past 12 months. Rent, car insurance, credit cards, random expenses. It adds up to $47,000 in 1 year." She glanced at the screen, then looked away. "I did not ask you to keep track." "You did not have to," I said. "I did it because I needed to see it. I needed proof that I was not imagining how much I have been giving you." "Giving," she repeated. "Exactly, you gave it to me. You cannot ask for it back now." "I am not asking for all of it back," I said. "Just the car, $38,000. I will give you 6 months to figure it out." Her face went red. "6 months, Rebecca, I do not have that kind of money, you know that." "Then sell the car," I said. She stood up, voice rising. "You are being cruel. I have sacrificed everything for you. I raised you alone. I worked myself to the bone. And now that I finally have something nice, you want to take it away." "I am not taking it away," I said quietly. "I am just asking you to pay for it yourself." She stared at me like I had slapped her. "T." Hen, she grabbed her purse and headed for the door. "I cannot believe you are doing this to me." "Mom," I called after her. She stopped, hand on the doorknob. "If you do not pay me back," I said, my voice steady, "I will report the car as fraudulently purchased under my name. The dealership will repossess it. You will lose it anyway." She turned, eyes wide. "You would not." "Try me," I said. She left without another word. The door slammed so hard the walls shook. I sat there in the silence, shaking, wondering if I had just destroyed my relationship with my mother or finally set myself free. Maybe both. Have you ever loved someone so much that you let them drain you dry? And when you finally stand up for yourself, they look at you like you are the villain. What do you do then? Do you back down, or do you hold the line even when it breaks your heart? Burloom 2. For 3 days my mother did not contact me. No calls, no texts, no angry voicemails, just silence. At first I felt relief. Then guilt crept in, whispering all the familiar lies. Maybe you were too harsh, maybe you should apologize, maybe you are being ungrateful. But every time those thoughts surfaced, I opened my banking app and looked at my balance. $940, that number kept me grounded. That number reminded me why I had finally drawn a line. On the 4th day my phone rang, not my mother, my Aunt Linda, her older sister. "Rebecca, what is going on with you and your mom?" she asked, voice tight with judgment. I took a breath. "Did she tell you?" "She told me you are demanding she pay you back for a car you bought her as a gift. She is devastated. She has been crying for days." "It was not a gift," I said. "She told the dealership I would pay without asking me first. She has been doing that for years, Aunt Linda. Taking my money and calling it love." There was a pause, then she said, "Your mother raised you alone. She gave up everything for you. You owe her." That word. Oh, like I was a debt collector instead of a daughter who had been bled dry. "I have given her over $150,000 in 7 years, I said quietly. "How much more do I owe?" Silence. "Then you have been keeping track. That is cold, Rebecca." "No," I replied. "What is cold is using your child as a personal bank account and then acting like the victim when they finally say no." She hung up on me. Within hours, the family group chat exploded. Messages from cousins I barely spoke to, distant relatives who suddenly had opinions about my life. "Family takes care of family. You are breaking your mother's heart. Money is not more important than blood." I read every message. I did not respond. I just took screenshots and added them to my folder. Then I muted the chat. They could say whatever they wanted. I was done explaining myself to people who had never once asked if I was okay. That night my mother finally called. I almost did not answer, but I needed to know if she had thought about what I said, if there was any chance she understood. "Rebecca," she said, voice shaking, "I cannot pay you back. I do not have that kind of money." "Then sell the car," I said. "I cannot," she whispered. "Everyone knows I have it now. If I sell it, they will ask questions. They will know I could not afford it. I will be humiliated." And there it was, the truth underneath all the tears and guilt trips. She did not care about losing the car. She cared about losing the image, the illusion that she had finally made it, that she was thriving, that she was blessed. "You humiliated me for years," I said. "Every time you bragged about your life to other people without mentioning I paid for it. Every time you posted photos of things I bought you and acted like you earned them. Every time you made me feel guilty for wanting to keep my own money. That was humiliation, Mom, and I swallowed it because I loved you." Her breath hitched. "So this is revenge?" "No," I said. "This is self-preservation." Another long silence. Then she said something that made my chest tighten. "If you take this car from me, I will never forgive you." I closed my eyes. For a moment I almost caved. Almost said, "Forget it, keep the car, I will figure it out." But then I remembered the $940 in my account. I remembered the maxed-out credit cards. I remembered every late night I worked overtime to cover her expenses while she slept peacefully in the apartment I was paying for. "Then I guess you will not forgive me," I said, "because I am not changing my mind." I hung up before she could respond. My hands were shaking, my heart was racing, but I did not cry. I did not call her back. I did not apologize. For the first time in 7 years, I chose myself. The next morning, I contacted the dealership. I explained the situation calmly, professionally. I told them the vehicle had been purchased under fraudulent pretenses, that I had been listed as the financial guarantor without full knowledge of the transaction, and that I was disputing the charge. Was surprisingly understanding. Apparently this happened more often than people realized. Family members using each other's credit, signatures, financial information without permission. The dealership offered 2 options. Either my mother could refinance the car under her own name and credit, or they would begin repossession proceedings. I chose to let them contact her directly. I was done being the middleman in my own financial abuse. 2 days later my mother called again. This time she was not crying. She was angry. "They are taking the car," she said, voice sharp. "They said I do not qualify for financing on my own. My credit is not good enough. They are coming to pick it up next week." "I know," I said. "You knew," her voice cracked. "You did this on purpose. You wanted to humiliate me." "I wanted you to face reality," I said. "You cannot afford that car. You never could. And I cannot keep pretending that your lifestyle is sustainable when it is completely dependent on me going broke. So what am I supposed to do now?" she demanded. "Drive my old car, the one that barely runs, show up to events looking like I am struggling?" "You are struggling, Mom," I said quietly. "You have been struggling for years, you just hid it behind my money." She was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "I thought you loved me." Those words hit like a punch. Because I did love her, I always had, but love had become a weapon she used to extract everything I had while giving nothing back except guilt. "I do love you," I said, "but I cannot let you destroy me anymore." She hung up. The car was repossessed 6 days later. I know because my cousin sent me a photo of the tow truck in my mother's driveway with a message, "Hope you are proud of yourself." I was not proud, but I was not ashamed either. I was just tired. Tired of being the villain in a story where I had been the victim all along. Over the next few weeks, the family pressure intensified. My aunt started a whisper campaign, telling relatives I had abandoned my mother, that I was selfish, that I had changed since I started making money. My mother posted vague messages on social media about betrayal and heartbreak. People who did not know the full story reached out to tell me I should reconcile, that family is everything, that I would regret this someday. I let them talk. I did not defend myself publicly. I did not air out the receipts. I just quietly removed myself from spaces where I was not respected. I left the family group chat. I unfollowed relatives who sent me guilt-tripping messages. I stopped attending events where I knew I would be ambushed with lectures about forgiveness and obligation, and slowly something unexpected happened. I started to breathe again. Without the constant drain of my mother's expenses, I paid off one credit card, then another. I started putting money into savings for the first time in years. Small amounts at first, $100, $200, but it added up. I bought myself new clothes, not designer. Just things that fit and made me feel good. I went to dinner with Sarah without checking my account balance first, without panicking about whether I could afford appetizers. I booked a weekend trip to a cabin in the mountains. Just me, some books, silence, no one asking me for anything. It felt like stealing, like I was doing something wrong by spending money on myself, but I did it anyway. And somewhere in that quiet cabin, staring at the trees and the sky, I realized something. I had been so afraid of losing my mother's love that I had lost myself completely. I had given her everything, my money, my peace, my future, thinking that was what love required. But real love does not demand you disappear. Real love does not drain you until there is nothing left. Real love does not punish you for having boundaries. 3 months after the car was repossessed, my mother sent me a text. Just one line, "Can we talk?" I stared at it for a long time. Part of me wanted to ignore it. Part of me wanted to say, "Now you want to talk," after months of silent treatment and family attacks. But another part of me, the part that still remembered her working 2 jobs, that still loved her despite everything, said yes. We met at a neutral location, a coffee shop halfway between our apartments. She looked smaller somehow, tired. She ordered a regular coffee, not the expensive latte she used to get. We sat in silence for a moment. Then she said, "I have been thinking a lot." I waited. "I did not realize how much I was taking from you," she continued, voice low. I spent so many years struggling, Rebecca, so many years with nothing. And when you started helping, it felt like I was finally getting what I deserved. I did not think about what it was costing you." "It cost me everything," I said. She nodded, eyes filling with tears. "I know that now. I went through my finances after they took the car, really looked at them, and I realized I have been living like. I make your salary, not mine. I have been living a lie." "So what now?" I asked. She took a breath. "I got a financial counselor, someone to help me budget, to figure out what I can actually afford. I moved to a cheaper apartment. I am selling things I do not need. I am trying to fix this." I felt something shift in my chest, not forgiveness, not yet, but maybe the beginning of it. "I am glad," I said. "I am sorry," she added, looking directly at me. "I am sorry I used you. I am sorry I made you feel like you owed me your entire life. I am sorry I called you selfish when you were just trying to survive." Tears strung my eyes. I had waited years to hear those words. "Thank you," I whispered. We talked for over an hour. She did not ask me for money. She did not make excuses. She just listened when I told her how much she had hurt me, how scared I had been, how angry I still was. And when we finally stood to leave, she hugged me. Not the performative hug she used to give when she wanted something, a real one. "I do not know if we can go back to how things were," I said. "I do not want to go back," she replied. "I want to build something different, something healthier, if you will let me." I nodded. "We can try." It was not a happy ending. It was not a full reconciliation. It was just a beginning, a fragile, uncertain beginning. But it was built on truth instead of guilt, and that made all the difference. 6 months later, I had $8,000 in savings. My credit cards were paid off. I had moved to a better apartment. I had started therapy to work through the years of financial abuse and guilt. My mother and I talked once a week, short calls, surface-level topics. She did not ask me for money. I did not offer. We were learning how to be in each other's lives without me being her ATM. It was awkward, it was uncomfortable, but it was real. And one day she sent me a photo, her old car, the one she had been embarrassed to drive, freshly washed and detailed. The message said, "It is not much, but it is mine, and that feels good." I smiled. Then I replied, "I am proud of you." And I meant it, because the hardest thing I ever did was not cutting my mother off. It was holding the boundary long enough for both of us to see the truth. She was not a villain, I was not selfish. We were just two people who had let fear and obligation twist love into something toxic. And when I finally said no, I did not just save myself. I gave her the chance to save herself too. So if you are reading this and you recognize yourself in my story, if you have been funding someone else's life while yours falls apart, if you have been called selfish for wanting to keep what you earned, hear me. You are not cruel for setting boundaries. You are not ungrateful for saying no. You are not a bad person for choosing yourself. You are just finally waking up. And the people who truly love you will learn to love you with boundaries intact. The ones who do not were never loving you in the first place. They were just loving what you could give them. I am Rebecca, I am 32 years old. And I am no longer my mother's ATM, I am just her daughter. And honestly, that is enough.